This lesson is going to be looking at writing the equation of a line if the only information that you have are 2 points that are on the line. Remember when you need to write an equation of a line. The easiest form to write it in is slope-intercept form. And remember, slope-intercept form looks like y equals mx plus b, where you need your slope, which is the m, and your y-intercept, which is the b. So let's say we're going to look at this example where we want to find the equation that passes through the points 2, 2, and 5, 8. There's 3 steps to this. The first thing is we have to use the slope formula to find the slope. Step 2 is to substitute the slope that you found and an ordered pair into find the y-intercept like we did in the previous lesson. And the last step then is to substitute the slope and the y-intercept into the slope-intercept form of an equation. So let's take a look at what this actually would look like. So we have our 2 points, 2, 2, and 5, 8. Remember when we do slope, the first thing is we want to label our points. And I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see particularly what we're doing with that particular part. But remember, the first number in an ordered pair is always the x, and the second is the y. But with the slope formula, we have to label them with the appropriate number subscripts. So I'm going to make the first pair x1, y1, and the second pair x2, y2. After I have my slope formula written down, which is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, I can go ahead and now substitute in the values. So y2 we labeled as 8 minus y1, which we labeled as 2, over x2, which we labeled as 5, over x1, which we labeled as 2. Now I can go ahead and subtract. So 8 minus 2 is 6, and 5 minus 2 is 3. Now I can divide or simplify where necessary. So 6 divides by 3 nicely, and it gives us a 2. So our slope, or our value of m, is equal to 2. Now our next step, and I'll zoom in on it as well, is we can use the slope and 1 point to find the value of b. It does not matter which point you use, you will end up with the same value of b regardless of the point you choose. So if we look back up here at our points, we have 2, 2, and 5, 8. Let's do 5, 8. So remember, if my points look like x, y, the 5 would be the x, and the 8 would be the y. So our slope-intercept form of our equation looks like y equals mx plus b. Once you identify the point of the 2 that you want to use, you can go back in and substitute the values you know. So the y we're going to use is 8. The m we just found was 2. The x in our example point is 5, so 2 times 5. And we don't know the b, which is plus b. So now we have to isolate the b to find out what it equals. So to simplify on the right hand side before we start isolating, I have 2 times 5, which is 10. So I know I have 10 plus b simplified on the right hand side. To get b by itself, I want to get rid of the 10. So I get rid of plus 10 by doing the opposite, which is taking away 10 from both sides. 8 minus 10 gives me negative 2. 10 minus 10 gives me nothing, so they cancel each other out, and then I'm left with b. So now we know that b is equal to negative 2. So if I write my equation of the line then, it should be in the slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b. The x and the y again come from the graph, so we know it's going to be y equals something x plus something. So we know we found m, which is our slope, which was 2, and we found our b to be negative 2. We don't often write plus negative, so really this equation, if we're simplifying it all the way down, would be y equals 2x minus 2.